Hey, what's going on, everybody? So today we're going to talk about the DK Meteor build. What we got going on here is the Valkynscoria monster set, 4 pieces of the Order's Wrath for the crit chance, and 5 pieces of Ember Shield. We're running the Inferno Staff with sharpened and poison damage. We are running Bloodthirsty on our Oakensoul ring and on our necklace. All 3 pieces are health recovery, except for Oakensoul. We have the multi-infect enchantment, which I will eventually be running multi-effect on all pieces, but as we all know, it's kind of hard to get multi-effect. It's going to take a little while, but at least have health recovery on all 3 pieces. And then with the ring, we have infused. Then divines on all of our pieces of armor. Every single piece has divines, increasing our Mundus Stone, which is the lover. So we have that increase to physical and spell penetration at all times, giving us that 10.8 physical and spell penetration. And then, like I said, 4 pieces of Order's Wrath for the crit chance, but you can run pretty much anything that will give you an increase to crit chance, because I wanted that above 30% crit chance. In Valkynscoria, 8% chance to summon a Meteor. So we're getting a Meteor from this, just proccing damage over time, each proc of damage over time, by the way. So some people might look at this and they're like, oh, it's only an 8% chance. No, it's an 8% chance per tick of your damage over time effect. So it procs way more than you would think by how you would read this. It's like kind of like, wow, why would I run this? It's only an 8% chance. Well, it happens a lot. You can proc this a lot, and it's really nice, and it can happen every 5 seconds if it procs. So it's really, really nice. So on average, I can get this to proc somewhere between every 5 seconds to every like 20 seconds, which is really, really nice. But it has to be dealing damage over time. But each tick of that damage over time, it's going to have a pretty good chance of proccing this. For our skills, we're running Flame Reach and Unstable Wall of Fire, both from the Destruction Staff. We are running Flames of Oblivion, Igneous Shield, and Echoing Vigor with the Mages Guild alt Shooting Star. And this is just absolutely fantastic. So the Flame Reach, it's going to do flame damage and additional flame damage over 20 seconds. This is going to leave an effect on the ground. And the cool thing about the Flame Staff, burning enemies take 10% more damage from this ability. When the effect ends, it explodes. And then the Flames of Oblivion, it's going to throw a fireball in their face. Really, really nice. Igneous Shield is going to give a shield to the group, and it's going to give you a shield. And you also get Major Mending, increasing your healing done by 16% for 3 seconds. And that's why I have the Echoing Vigor slotted right after the Igneous Shield. So when I cast the Igneous Shield, I'm going to immediately cast Echoing Vigor right after. Why? Because I have Major Mending for 3 seconds. Really, really nice. So usually in PvE, I'm going to cast a heavy attack first, then I'm going to throw this out, drop this, drop this. Then I'm going to cast a heavy attack again, I'm going to cast this and this. And then every 20 seconds, I'm going to recast the Igneous Shield and the Vigor. And there, what? Valkynscoria just went off. So really, really fantastic. And then you can also cast another huge fireball on the enemy. Really, really love this combination of abilities. And both the Igneous Shield and the Echoing Vigor, you will benefit your group with these 2 abilities. So, Major Mending, increasing your healing done by 16% for 3 seconds. I immediately cast the Echoing Vigor. I'm going to give bonus healing to myself and the group. Really, really cool. As long as they're within 12 and 15 meters of you, which usually they are. But, you know, just try to maintain melee range with another group member before you cast Igneous Shield and Echoing Vigor if you're in any kind of group content, which is not hard to do, because this is also 15 meters, Flames of Oblivion. But the really cool thing about Flames of Oblivion is if you have to back off away from an enemy, you're losing too much health, as you turn away, if you're within 15 meters, this will still hit them. So while you're running away, let me proc this real quick. While you're running away, you're still going to hit them with the fireball, and you can just cast this while you're running away. And it's still going to throw that fireball at them. It's really, really nice. While you're escaping, you're still doing damage to them. I love this. But the caveat with this, Flames of Oblivion, you have to start the combat first before you cast this. Well, you don't have to, but the fireball is just going to float around you if you're not in combat yet. Whereas if you're already in combat, so you cast your heavy attack, or you at least just cast your flame reach to start the fight, that Flames of Oblivion, as soon as you cast it, it's going to immediately throw the fireball in their face. It's really, really fantastic. And then Unstable Wall of Fire, this is crucial. This is like your main, this is what you're going to spam in PvP. So typically in PvP, I'm not going to bother trying to cast a heavy attack first. I'm going to throw this out first on an enemy. Then I'm going to throw this out. Then I'm going to throw this down 3 times. So I'm doing the explosions that I get from this. When the effect ends, it explodes. So you're going to want to make it end. And then it causes an explosion. And then, as you can see, Valkynscoria is going off while that's going. And it's just awesome. And then, like I said, burning enemies take 10% more damage from this. So you're casting it 3 times in a row on enemy players. Really, really cool. So PvE, I'm going to be throwing this out, then cast this, throwing another heavy out, casting this, throwing another heavy out, throwing this down, and throwing another heavy. Then I cast 2 of these, one right after the other, then throw another heavy. In PvP, I'm approaching this and I'm going boom, 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 and then I'm casting a heavy attack to get some magicka back. Then I'm casting these 2. And then I can throw the Meteor on them from the Mage's Guild skill line, which should finish them off. In most cases, it finishes them off. It's just really, really nice. The weakness with this character. Now, he is extremely slow. He is a turtle. He has a really good shell, so he takes a lot of damage, and he can bite really, really hard. He does plenty of damage, but he is really slow, especially in battlegrounds when you lose your champion points that increase speed, which I'll get into later. He is very slow. So, if you have your alchemy skill up, make speed draining poison and essence of speed. Both of these come from the same 3 materials: blessed thistle, dragon thorn, and Emir's root. Both of these. So you can make one where you're going to use it from your potion slot, and then the other one's going to be on your weapon. So you can run both of these at the same time. Really, really nice. But if you don't have your alchemy up, as you level your character, you're going to get some of these Gold Coast Swift Survival Elixirs. These are really, really fantastic to run as well. And then if you run Thieves Guild stuff, you can get some Roguish Escape Drought. This is also going to give you the major expedition that you need, especially in battlegrounds. So you have that increased speed. So weakness solved. And then we're running for our food or drink Orzorga's Red Frothgar. Max health by just about 5.4k and magic recovery by 493 for 2.5 hours. And then you're going to extend this to 3 hours just because of champion points. And then also, I put 32 points into health. Now, normally you would put all 64 points into magicka because that's mainly what you're running. But I did 32 points into health. So this would make our Igneous Shield even larger. So because of the champion points and because of the 32 points into health, we have 8.5 damage shield coming from our Igneous Shield for us, and 3.4 damage shield for the group. Now this is going to drop a little bit in PvP, but it's still going to be pretty burly. And we're also getting that major mending for 3 seconds, so we're immediately casting Echoing Vigor right after. So we're going to get a lot of bonus health from the Echoing Vigor. Really, really fantastic combination of 2 abilities that you can use to effectively protect yourself and heal yourself when you need it. I think that's it for everything else except for the champion points. I believe so. So in fitness, we're getting, you can at least just put 10 points in here just so you can get over to Wind Chaser. Like I said, our character's very slow, so we're going to want to take advantage of the hasty 4% movement speed increase. Then we're going to come over to Survivor Spite. We want Pain's Refuge and Sustained by Suffering. Both of these increase your survivability and help with your recoveries. 2 fantastic champion points there. Then we're going to work our way up somehow. You could do like 10 and 25 in here if you want to, or you could just put 10 points in here. Don't bother slotting it. And then just get the 50 points into Bastion, because this is increasing your damage shield, and it's going to increase your effectiveness of your damage against shielded enemies by a total of 15%. That's nuts. So 50 points into Bastion, and then 50 points into Fortified, so you get even more armor. Really, really nice. Then, like we said over here, we're getting Sustained by Suffering and Pain's Refuge. You're going to want to come over to the Warfare skill line, and also you're going to want to put some points in here, unlock the ability to get in here, Staving Death. I put all 20 points in here, put at least 10 in here, so that you can get 50 points into Ironclad, 6% damage reduction. So the combination of Ironclad and Pain's Refuge and Sustained by Suffering, these 3 make it really hard to kill me. It's really, really fantastic. And then you at least put 10 points into Precision. You're eventually going to want to max that out. But you want to come in here to get the Wrathful Strikes and then the Fighting Finesse. Then you're going to want to come into Extended Might, put all points into Piercing eventually, and then 50 points into Weapons Expert, because like I said, our main priority to proc Ember Shield and give us that extra resistance. Well, Weapons Expert, we're going to be heavy attacking a lot, so we're going to get a plus 20% damage on top of every heavy attack that we use. Really, really nice. 40 points into Flawless Ritual eventually, and then War Mage. This is going to give us another 100 weapon and spell damage to our magical attacks. Really, really nice to have that little addition. And then you're going to eventually want to max all these out, but concentrate on doing your healing taken first, and then work on your magical attacks, because overall that's the more important thing. And then get your martial attacks, and then concentrate on the non-player attacks. Eventually max all these out. I ran out of champion points, but I will eventually put 20 into these 3 as well. And then come into Mastered Curation. Right here, your plus 2% healing done. That's going to add to when you use your Igneous Shield and your Echoing Vigor. When you use these combinations, you're going to get a little bit more health from this. And then come over to Craft. We're going to put points wherever, but our main priority is for Cyrodiil. We 100% want the Breakfall. All 50 points eventually into Breakfall, and then all 50 points into Steadfast Enchantment, so that you have 50% chance to not consume a charge. Then you're going to come down here, Rationer, get Rationer. It's going to add 30 more minutes onto your food or drink, whatever you're using. Get your Steed's Blessing to make this character even faster, plus 20% movement speed. It's essential for this build. I use this on all builds. I like all my characters to be fast, but this one is essential. You need this for this character. Like I said, you're going to lose it on Battlegrounds. Just prioritize using more potions. And then you're going to get Treasure Hunter. So increase the quality of items you find in treasure chests. It's very rare, but there were a couple times in which I actually got a weapon from a dungeon or a trial from a chest. And I think this is why, because I have 50 points into Treasure Hunter. And then 75 points into liquid efficiency, because you're going to be using a lot of potions and poisons, especially in PvP. Like, you can take the poisons and the potions of speed off in PvE, but in PvP you're going to be using them a lot. This gives you a 10% chance to not consume them at all, so you can save more potions. It's really quite important. And I think that's it. I absolutely love this build. I use it in Imperial City. I use it in arenas. I use it on overland bosses. Now, are you going to get a quicker result for killing enemies from a different build? Yes, of course you will. But the point is, you can kill pretty much anything with this build. It's absolutely fantastic. I've taken it into Imperial City, Cyrodiil, Battlegrounds, Trials. I've fought overland bosses with it. I've tested it all. And this is an absolutely fantastic build. Maybe not my best build for PvP specifically, or my best build for Trials, or my best build for Cyrodiil, but the main takeaway is this character, this build can be ran on all content, and you will have a fairly easy time if you're casting these abilities the way that I suggest. Now, one other thing. I don't want to say to take the flame reach off, but if you guys are, because there's a lot of players out there that don't want to run potions for speed, don't want to run, like, they don't really pay attention to potions. If you don't want to do that, you can equip Chains of Devastation, especially in Battlegrounds. This is going to put you right in the enemy's face, so you could opt out Flame Reach for Chains of Devastation if you want to. And another option is I went with Nord for the increased resistances. You will lose some resistances by going with a Wood Elf, but you could do that. You get a passive 4-5% increased movement speed from your Wood Elf race. So you could do that if you want to. A couple more suggestions. I personally don't want to sacrifice Flame Reach. I love how good it is, but you could do that. You could opt out and put Chains of Devastation on. If you're running mainly Battlegrounds, you could do this ability instead. You could also run Wood Elf, but I just don't suggest it. This character is extremely tanky and does enough damage to get you through arenas, especially like Vatishran Hollows, the final boss fight. When they create that ring, I have no problems at all breaking that ring with this character. It's really, really fantastic. I have a pretty easy go running through Sunspire, especially. It's my favorite one, my favorite trial. I have a pretty easy time running through here. Don't really have to worry about running out of sustain or running out of magicka. I sustain really well with this character by running the skills the way that I've shown earlier. So hopefully you guys found this informative. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, laters.